Dave Stewart is our guest. He is the managing editor at KSPR News, Channel 33 in Springfield. We're talking about the Fast Eddie Mayer story, a 20-year on-the-lam story of a man that robbed. How much money did he steal from this, allegedly steal, from this bank in England?
It was £1 million, British currency of pounds, in coins, 20 and 10-pound notes, which works out to about $1.5 million.
It's incredible, and for 20 years they're looking for him, they can't find him, and he shows up in the Ozarks. What was Fast Eddie doing for a living in the Ozarks?
He was working as a cable installer.
The cable guy was a bank robber.
Apparently so.
And so here we are, the Nixa police are interrogating his son about this domestic violence case. And didn't Fast Eddie make a complaint about a certain piece of property that he thought his son's girlfriend had stolen?
Well, what's interesting about this, yes, he made a complaint about a firearm that he claims his son's girlfriend stole from him.
She stole my guns, police. Please go and get them. And
please go and let me make myself available to you for this police report. How brazen is this guy?
It's unbelievable. And this one alias, now Stephen King, we know, that's just a brilliant alias for him to use.
Right.
But he's also going by the name of Michael Mayer.
Right.
Who's Michael Mayer? There really is a real Michael Mayer.
There really is, and it's his brother.
His brother. Very nice. And his brother's still alive?
His brother, actually, we've worked with the BBC very closely on this story, and they have not been able to find Michael Mayer yet. They found two Michael Mayers in the neighborhood where this guy used to live, Fast Eddie, and neither one of them turned out to be relatives.
It's unbelievable. And so Mayer's living here, and he has not only a girlfriend or a wife, but he also has this son who's old enough to be charged with an adult crime. How long?
And another son, Scott.
So
another
he's
son.
Been living this life.
Son now.
He's been living this life here.
He has, working as a cable installer for Sudden Link Communications. There's a cable company out of Ozark. Before that, the police chief of Ozark told me he was working for Mediacom.
And so, how is it that the FBI get in touch with, or someone at Nixa or the Ozark police get in touch with the FBI, and they make contact with Mayer and find out that he is really the guy that ripped off this bank in Suffolk, England for $1.5 million?
Well, of course, we know it eventually did happen. What happened was the day after Lee, who was going by the name of Lee King, that Fast Eddie's son, was arrested and bailed out, someone went to another Ozark police officer, Officer David Overstock, I believe his name is, and told him, look, you guys got this international fugitive living in your community. That officer went to their detectives there at Ozark PD. Those detectives contacted the FBI. They immediately started surveillance on Fast Eddie and his family.
And this is all stuff that happened this week. I mean, this isn't like this has been an ongoing investigation. They just learned about this on Monday.
That's right. Yeah, no. Ozark PD received the tip on the 6th, which is the same day that Lee bonds out of jail. The next day is when they all started surveillance. I shouldn't say the next day like it was 24 hours, but it was a few hours later that they started surveillance on this guy.
It's unbelievable. This almost reminds me of the Whitey Bulger case, because you mentioned Boston, and a guy who is hiding in plain sight. Here's the cable man who's ripped off a bank, and someone, Interpol or Scotland Yard's been looking for this guy for the last 2 decades, and there he is with an English accent installing your cable down at the Lake of the Ozarks.
With the same last name.
With the same last name. Dave Stewart is our guest. We're talking about the very interesting Fast Eddie Mayer case, a man who had been on the run for 20 years, who was busted in the Ozarks because he got mad that his son's girlfriend stole his gun. Now, once he's arrested, and the charge documents, the affidavits here, this isn't necessarily proof or evidence, but What is in the affidavit from the FBI special agent, Dave, that really is telling about what Mayer is facing and what kind of trouble he's in?
Well, let me tell you this part of the story, and I think you're going to find it interesting as a journalist, Scott. On Wednesday morning, I got a phone call, and this is from a source that I've been cultivating, and the source tells me, hey, Dave, you're in front of a computer. Look up this guy, Fast Eddie Mayer, UK on Google. So I do, and I start reading about it, and I say, okay, what are you trying to tell me here? And he goes, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, my phone rings. He says, we got him. So as soon as I got off the phone with my source, who is very reliable, I call the Ozark police chief, who confirms the arrest, and I call the FBI, who further confirms it. And, of course, a little pat on the back to us. We were able to have this confirmed and posted on our website, broke the story 5 hours before anybody else knew about it.
It is an international story. Congratulations.
Yeah, and we've been on the BBC doing interviews. Of course, it's fascinating both from the general public's point of view as to how all this happens. Fascinating from a journalist's point of view, I think, how we were able to put it all together. So we find out that he's being held initially on immigration charges. Back to your question about what is in the charging affidavit. The next morning, we found out that he is now charged with the technical charge is illegal alien in possession of firearms. When you're not here legally, of course, our laws say you can't have a gun. So he ends up having 2 rifles and 2 pistols, a couple at the house and a couple in a storage facility that his, I guess now claimed to be wife, who's been going by the name of Sarah. Remember when she left England, her name was Debbie Brett. Now she's been going by the name of Sarah Mayer. And she leads police officers to the storage facility where they find, the rest of the guns that this guy's accumulated over the years, all of which did not come from Missouri. I mean, none of which had come from Missouri. So they've charged him with, transporting those firearms over state lines as well.
Unbelievable. That's Dave Stewart. We're talking about the Fast Eddie Mayer case. We're going to take a little break, Dave, and when we come back, we'll talk about what Mr. Mayer is looking at now in his future, now that he's in custody, and we'll talk a little bit about what's happening in your neck of the woods with Joplin and its recovery when we have Dave Stewart come back on Night Court. We'll be right back after this.